Next up, we have Ashkit. Ashkit,
Hey,
how you doing? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
hey, yeah, sure. So I go by AB, by the way. So I am a director of data science at Liberty Mutual. I've been here about 4 years. Before that, I was at another insurance company. Have been working a lot in NLP, AI, and lately trusted AI as well. So a lot of interesting work going on across the board. I did my master's in data science back in 2016 at UCST, and since then have been part of the insurance industry, working across the whole value chain of insurance. As Don said, I'm happy to connect on LinkedIn and chat and anytime you guys want to reach out, and very excited to see what you guys have to show today. Thank you.
Awesome. AB, thank you for that wonderful intro. I told you we bringing out the big guns, y'all. We bringing out the big guns. All right, AB.
Great presentation. I really loved the story overall. At times, I felt you went a little geeky. I am a geek, so I can understand. But think about who your audience is. So maybe structure the story more business more on the business side. So the graph seemed a little too much at times. So you could take a little bit of step back there and only keep things that really favor your story, really tell what you're trying to convey. So only keep those elements for if you're trying to present to leadership, right? And then one other thing, the suggestions like make sense, but did you like do any kind of research in terms of figuring out what's the feasibility of those suggestions, right? So like water problems, it's not very easy to solve. So what's the feasibility look like? So those are kind of like my suggestions. And I really like that you stuck to only like 3 or 4 KPIs, which stand out. And that's pretty good. So you don't want to go list out 10 KPIs. So sticking with few KPIs makes total sense.
All right, thanks, AB. AB, we're gonna start off with you this time.
Sure. Great presentation. I really liked your starting. You covered really good ground in terms of explaining the fossil fuels, the problems. And from on the recommendation side, I would have really liked to see, and this is a tough topic to pick, believe me, it's like so common right now. So I would have liked to see you talk about the grid as well, because that's one of the biggest problems in terms of expanding and being able to spread the use of renewable energy. So that's a big infrastructure problem. So you could have talked about that a little bit on the recommendation side. But otherwise, I think the KPIs were good. Again, I would say that only put things in your slides that you want to show that tell your story to the audience. So if you're showing your whole dashboard, I'm just trying to look around what you're trying to show. So you want to just focus on things you want to show to your audience. The dashboard is for you to find the insights and then maybe later share it with your stakeholders to look at it outside of the meeting. So yeah, that's my
Thank you.
feedback.
All right, great feedback. Silviana?
Great presentation. I think you did really well across the board. And same thing, I'll say again, I think you need to focus on what are like 3 things that I want my stakeholders to take away from this presentation. Focus on that, tell the story to make those points. So I think one thing that you probably noticed is like while going through your dashboard, you're finding it hard to figure out when you changed the metrics, when you're trying to move to a different region. So if you had those graphs separately plotted out and as part of your presentation instead of showing the dashboard, that would just make it much smoother to tell your story. So less is more. And then one last thing, I think you were focusing a lot on the carbon emission part. So I would have loved to see maybe like bring in the carbon neutral goals of these countries to see will they be able to achieve their goals depending on how they're going, right? So that could have like helped with looking into the future, how our country is doing.
AB, what's your feedback?
Just I loved it. I think so Sucharita, you mentioned have done this for like past 2 months. So like it's a lot of work, amazing work. I know there's a lot of effort that goes into finding insights into the data, and especially like the 3 problems that you guys brought today. They're very tough problems, and very real problems today, that you have brought and tried to present on. So kudos.